We inside the industry are used to this idea that gas is the cleanest fossil fuel and therefore the choice is like obvious. But it's not that obvious for the customers. And as renewables, for example, are getting cheaper and cheaper, as electricity storage technologies are advancing, actually this role of gas is being challenged. And we really have to answer that. And though gas is indeed the cleanest fossil fuel, it's not carbon neutral. So in many situations, gas is not an obvious choice, and we really need to advocate it. And I think the industry is missing this agenda for the last, 10, 15 years. It's the first challenge. So demand for gas, first of all, in the power sector, in transportation sector as well, it's not that obvious that LNG for bunkering or for natural gas vehicles is like the best solution for the customers. We need to prove that. The second challenge, I believe, and that's really very pity and very disappointing, is geopolitics. So I think never ever gas industry has been so much related to all the geopolitical tensions. So being its sanctions against Russia, against Iran, all the problems around Qatar. So basically all the major gas players globally are facing some problems and disputes from the geopolitical side. And of course it was visible at the conference as well when the biggest representatives of gas producing countries, no Russia, no Iran, were not able to attend as they wanted to. So that's really pity, and I think that's deteriorating again the role of gas, because when people are trying to make their choice, when they plan to build, gas-fired power plant, the first thought is, it is gas. Gas is politicized. It's probably dangerous to choose it. So that's a big challenge, I believe. Nordstream 2 is a very controversial project and the stakes are really high. So it's much more than just a commercial pipeline. It became a subject for enormously hot political discussion from many sides. For Russia, it is a very important project bypassing Ukraine, reaching the most luxury northwestern European gas market. For the northwestern Europe, it's also a very important project both for the countries and for the companies involved, as Groningen production in Netherlands has dropped significantly, and so there is really a big gap between supply and demand, which they need to cover somehow, and Nord Stream 2 could be a good solution for that problem. But it is also a huge problem for Baltic states, for Poland, for Ukraine, so for the countries which will lose gas transit, at least part of it, as Nord Stream 2 will become operational. And US definitely are not very happy about the project, again, because all the headache with Ukraine, they will have to solve it. So geopolitical tension is very high, and though if you look at purely economic basis, it is the shortest route, which is more than 1,000 kilometers shorter than Ukrainian transit, and it has lower tariff than Ukrainian transit has now. So in a normal world, there would be no discussion about that. But as Ukraine is involved and having in mind all the political background of very complicated relationship between Russia and Ukraine, it is becoming extremely sensitive. So all the negotiations about Nord Stream, they are actually not separate from the Ukrainian discussion. So it's a package deal where all the players, all the stakeholders are trying to put together some commitments on keeping Ukrainian transit, keeping transit through Poland, having Nord Stream 2, and at the same time somehow stabilizing this relationship between Russia and Europe. I wouldn't say that it is a dead end, but it is a very complicated task, and so far we are not approaching any solution.